Swadika. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, our honorable guests, members of the press. I'm Elizabeth Sattler-Linanushai as your host. Welcome to the SportAccord Convention 2018 and the, how do I pronounce this? AIMS or AIMS? AIMS Conference under the theme United Through Sports. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our Minister of Tourism and Sports, His Excellency Weerasak Khosurat. This event sees over 100 federations and organizations within the Olympic movement coming together. As a Thai, I'm extremely proud that this event is being held in Thailand, a country which is sport-loving. But also prides itself for the freedom of sport as a given right without discrimination of any kind. For the next 4 days, Bangkok will be the center of the world of sports, but more so to showcase that sport is creating changes and has positive influences, especially to the youth. As Thailand is the hosting country, it is my greatest honor to call upon the first speaker to give his welcome note on behalf of the Royal Thai government. Please welcome His Excellency Weerasak Khosurat, Minister of Tourism and Sports. Thank you, Your Excellency, for your warm words. Our next speaker needs no introduction in the sport world. He has many hats. He is the president of not only SportAccord, but GAISF. He is also an IOC member and General Secretary of FIBA. It is my greatest honor to introduce to you Mr. Patrick Bowman. Thank you, President, and once again, on behalf of Thailand, we thank you for your support. The Summer Olympics is with no doubt one of the greatest sporting events in which the Olympic spirit and values shine around the world. The world is looking towards Tokyo 2020. And we are very honored to welcome the next speaker, the president of the Association of Summer Olympic Federations, a true sports person by heart and soul. Mr. Francesco, is it? Francesco Ricky Bitti. Francesco Ricky Bitti. Thank you so much, Mr. Ricky Bitti. Fair play is the foundation we stand on in life and sport. Protecting sport and its integrity as well as the athletes who are clean is important. We have an old saying in Thailand, we rather fail in honesty than succeed in dishonesty. It's our greatest honor to welcome the next speaker, the president of WADA and IOC member, Sir Craig Reedy. Thank you for your words of wisdom. Peace and sport is under the high patronage of His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco. It uses sport as a tool to create hope, harmony, and peace. Mr. Joel Buzo Joe Buzo needs no introduction. He's a former successful Olympian, the founder of Peace and Sport, as well as president of World Olympians. Please give him a warm welcome, Mr. Joel Buzo. Thank you, Joel, for that insightful and evoking speech. United Through Sport is more than just a slogan. It is an alliance of many coming together to create a better tomorrow. Sport ability stands for the different abilities we all have and using these abilities to work as one. It is now my greatest pleasure to introduce to you the CEO of SportAbility, who is one of the engines of the United Through Sport initiative and festival. We are very proud to have her here in Thailand to contribute to the ones in need, to contribute to the ones in need. Please welcome Mrs. Julia Govindan. Thank you, Mrs. Govindan, for your unique and powerful words. Our next speaker definitely needs no introduction to the kingdom. A former champion in Muay Thai, known for his charisma and unique personality, but also for using his influence in the world of sport to give back towards society. I personally had a few times working with him on many occasions, and he has all of our respects. So please welcome the President of AIMS and GAISF, Vice President, Mr. Stephen Fox. Gaze? Gaze. Gave. Okay, thank you. AIMS and GAVE. AIMS and GAVE. And then you will introduce Mr. Back. Thank you, Mr. Back, and the Kingdom of to have your presence at this prestigious annual event. Our next speaker also needs no introduction to Thailand in the world of sport. We would like to congratulate her on her appointment as an IOC member, and she is one of the driving force for badminton in our country. It is my greatest pleasure to welcome Kun Ying Pathama Lee Sawat Trakoon. Please welcome. Thank you so much, Kun Ying Pathama, for your words of wisdom. Our next speaker, all the way from Mexico, is representing the world initiative called Sport is Your Sport. Sport is Your Gang. Sport is Your Gang, in which 10,000 children participated, and in 2014 have won the SportAccord Spirit of Sport Award. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Giovanna Mondragon. Thanks, Giovanna. You speak from true experience, and your work is benefiting so many. We all believe that every child in the world must have the right to play, and we all know we live in a world filled with injustice and poverty. Right to Play is an exceptional organization, and their efforts around the world have given hope and smiles to the children of the world. We also know that they play an important part in our region. Please welcome Mr. Kevin Frey. Thank you, Kevin. We are grateful and most thankful for your thoughts and insights. Youth and sport plays an important part in the work of UNESCO, which have created many initiatives, especially in poor and urban areas. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me introduce to you Ms. Caroline Baxter Trezise. Caroline, okay. Caroline Baxter Trezise. Thank you, Ms. Baxter Trezise, for sharing your thoughts and vision with us. The athletes are role models for our youth. They inspire and are living examples of how to show as much grace and victory as in defeat. The athletes have inspirational stories, and they are ambassadors. The world needs them more than ever to advocate social change. All sports have athletes commissions, and today it is our honor to have the representative from the IOC Athletes Commissions, who is also a part of Generation for Peace, under the patronage of His Royal Highness Prince Faisal, who will join us here at the closing conference on the 20th. Please welcome Ms. Nadine Dawani. Thank you, Nadine. You speak to us with the eyes of an athlete. It is my honor to bring the final speaker to the podium, the representative of the European Council of EPAS. How do you pronounce this? EPAS? APAS. who shows the importance that this conference has on governmental levels. Please welcome Mr. Stanislas Frossard. Stanislas. Frossard. Thank you, Mr. Frossard, for such an insightful delivery, and we thank you for joining us. Distinguished guests, today was a testimony of cooperation, alliances, and the unique power sport possesses in so many different aspects. This afternoon, the festival will begin with over 50 sports participating until 10 in the evening. And tomorrow night, the opening of the United Through Sport Festival will take place, in which children of the world come together in unity and make a plea to the sport and political leaders of the world to continue to use sport as a tool towards peace, respect, and cultural understanding. I hope that we all will give towards the social projects which benefits the ones who live in conditions which for many are hard to understand. Let us unite as one to help. Let us unite as one to help these children to find a little smile. And if we can achieve this, then this is more than a reward. On behalf of Thailand, the hosting country for the SportAccord Convention 2018 and AIMS Conference, we'd like to thank you, all of you, for your courage, your determination, your visions and missions towards the children of the world. Have a lovely day. Sawadee ka.
1, 2, 1, 2. Oh.
Perfect, so they're working. Okay, you want to try it? Yeah. Give it a go, why not?
Good morning, world of sport. My name is Rocco, and I am part of the 100 children who have been working hard over the last few weeks to perform for all of you here in Bangkok. Now, surely we will have a lot of fun, but at the same time, we do understand there are a lot of children in the world who are not as fortunate as us. So I'm here today with Rahana to ask for your support to help all the children in need. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm a little bit nervous because I've Googled some of you sitting here, and many of you are in a position to bring smiles into other children's faces. Please join us tomorrow night for some fun, a few surprises, and be inspired by some of the children who have come from far away. Their presence is my inspiration. Tomorrow will be a highlight of their lives, so please come and celebrate with us.
What do you want them to do with the microphone?
With the microphones, if maybe I'll try to position someone on the side who can take them from them, or if we have someone here who can stand.
The microphone?
What do they do when they walk down the stage with the
Because
mic?
they have the microphone, they need to get them to somebody else.
Yeah, I can stand
Yeah?
here or
If
whatever.
you can, that would be wonderful. And
I'm
then
not
you'll pass the
standing
microphone.
in the way.
Yeah?
Okay, then, kids, you sit here later, okay? This is your cue. Don't come too close to me, you know I bite.
Oh, when
Test. Oh, wow, this is loud. Man, these are good.
Swadika. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, our honorable guests, delegates, members of the press. I'm Elizabeth Sadler Linanuchai as your host. Welcome to Thailand and welcome to SportAccord 2018 and AIMS Conference under the theme United Through Sport. This event sees over 100 international federations and organizations within the Olympic movement coming together. As a Thai, I'm very proud and honored that Thailand is being the hosting country for this event. We're very sport-loving Thai people in Thailand, and we also pride ourselves for the freedom of sport as a given right without discrimination of any kind. And for the next 4 days, Bangkok, Thailand will be the center of the world of sports, but more so to showcase that sports is creating changes and has positive influences, especially to the youth. As Thailand is the hosting country, it is my greatest honor to call upon our first guest speaker to welcome all of us here. On behalf of the Royal Thai government, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Minister of Tourism and Sports, His Excellency Weerasak Khosurat. ขอเสียงปรบมือด้วยค่ะ
Very good morning and sawadee krab. Distinguished colleagues and friends from the federations, friends of sport and Olympic humanity, ladies and gentlemen. Thailand is proud to host the SportAccord 2018, where the world leaders of sports come together to unite, share knowledge, participate in various conferences, network, and most of us are here on a mandate given by the most important asset we have in life as we have in sport. Our athletes and our youth, I believe this is more than a mandate. It is our duty and responsibility to do the best with our limited time given on this planet to ensure that the next generation can live in the better world that it is today. Sport has a unique power where leaders fail to unite, sports prevails. The opening of the Winter Olympics is one perfect example where we saw North and South Korea proudly walking in united under the Olympic spirit. This can only give leaders of the world hope that through dialogue, cultural understanding, and differences we have, we can work together to change. Unity and diversity is not just a slogan in the world of sport. Sport has no discrimination, no religious or social differences. What we also must understand is that we live in a world in which children grew up in poverty, facing the terror of war on a daily basis. Now, more than ever, they need our help. These children have no choice, but we do. Therefore, as Minister of Sport and Tourism of the Kingdom of Thailand, I feel privileged indeed to see so many coming together and building an important alliance, working together towards a common goal. If one person dreams, in most cases, it is just a dream. But if so many have the same dream, then this dream becomes reality. The slogan of the conference, I would like to thank AIMS for hosting this important part of the convention, is United Through Sports. I'm looking forward to the various speakers from the different organizations to give us a deeper insight into their work and at the same time inspire us to work even harder. I also look forward to tomorrow night towards the opening of the festival, which is a first in the history of the convention. And I would like to thank the IOC for granting patronage and let us all join together to honor the children of the world, reminding us that we must continue to do so what we are obliged to towards them. On behalf of the Royal Thai government, I once again would like to thank you, and it is the honor for us to welcome so many outstanding personalities into our kingdom. Hope you have a good meeting in the next 4 days. Thank you so much. สวัสดีครับ
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Minister of Tourism and Sports. Could you please remain on the stage to receive a token of appreciation from AIMS Council and also United Through Sport. Can we have a big round of applause, please? Thank you so much for your kind words. Your Excellency, Mr. Wirasak Khosurat, Minister of Tourism and Sports. Thank you so much. Also, thanks to our representatives from AIMS Council and United Through Sport. ขอบพระคุณค่ะ Can we have another round of applause, please? And this is our first guest speaker on behalf of the Royal Thai government. Thanks to our honorable guests on the stage. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker needs no introduction in the world of sport. He has many hats, and he is the president of not only SportAccord, but GAFE. He is also an IOC member and general secretary of FIBA. It is my greatest honor to introduce to you Mr. Patrick Baumann. Please welcome.
Sawadee-kap, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Minister, President Fox, welcome to SportAccord 2018 here in a wonderful city and a very hospitable country, Thailand. We are very happy to have you all here, and we are very happy to be in your city and in your country, Mr. Minister. For the last 12 months, we've been waiting for this. For the last 12 months, we've been waiting for the surprises that our good friend Fox would prepare for us for every single day. And I imagine that the festival and this United for Sport is one of those surprises. Nothing goes differently and nothing goes as usual in the world of the Fox. The sport is essential to every culture and society. It's core to our individual's health and happiness, and we have a chance, and we are fortunate that all of us, together with some, and I'm sure our good friend and President Bach will address those with the refugee team in Brazil, with the North Peninsula, the Korean Peninsula being together at the Olympic Games. And today we have, and not to compare with those big things, but certainly somehow we have this festival and is united through sports here at GAIFS. And we are very happy that we can contribute and participate in it. And I'd like to thank all of you, because you participate in the festivals, in a demonstration, bringing your sports to those, but also to those that have organized this wonderful initiative. But these things, if we want to contribute in society, don't work just by ourselves. We can only do them if we work together with the public authorities, and I would like to express our thanks again to the government, to the Thai government, and to you, Mr. Minister, for making it happen, really. And I can only invite every one of you to participate in the festival, but also in tomorrow evening's moment when we have all these children that come and that will sing and dance in front of you and show how deeply passionate they are about sports. And I think that your presence will be a great thank you to all of them, to these displaced children, but also to the juvenile people that the government has kindly allowed to participate in a festival. And I can only invite you to come tomorrow evening at 6:30, 7 o'clock, and participate with us in this very, very special moment. I would like, therefore, to encourage you to unite, to celebrate the spirit and values of sport, and honor the children of the world. Thank you very much, and have a very positive and fruitful discussion here in your convention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Patrick Baumann. Please remain on the stage to receive a token of appreciation from AIMS Council and United Through Sport. Can we have a round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you again, our President, and on behalf of Thailand, thank you for your support. Ladies and gentlemen, the Summer Olympics is with no doubt one of the greatest sporting events in which the Olympic spirit and value shines around the world. The world is looking forward to Tokyo 2020, and we are very honored to welcome our next speaker, the president of the Association of Summer Olympic Federations, a true sports person by heart and soul. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Francesco Ricky Bitti.
Good morning, Excellence Minister, good friend. It's my pleasure on behalf of your sister federation from the Olympic movement to welcome all of you to this IMS meeting, conference this morning. And let me say congratulations to our great friend Stefan Fox. He has brought IMS in this new evolution of the organization of guys completely inside our family, and I have to compliment him and give also a great profile and a great role. IMS is a gate of the new sport to our family. We are at the end with the Olympic status, but the new sport could approach our movement now in a united way, and I would like really to thank Stefan Fox for this vision and for his activity. The second remark I want to do, again another compliment to Stefan for this idea to include in this sport accords. I want to remember that the Bangkok decision, I was my last one as a president, and I stepped down in favor of my young friend Patrick Baumann. But Bangkok was still in my management time, and I'm very happy because Bangkok is a city of modernity and tradition together, like we are in sport, and I believe that has been a great choice, having seen the perfect organization of these days. But I want to compliment again Stefan Fox for these last remarks on the United Through Sport initiative. It's a great initiative because we should remember all the time in sport that we are not only taking care of the competitive side, but sport is a great tool to make the world better. And this is one of the many initiatives that could help us to contribute with the power of sport to make the world better. I'm very pleased that in this festival more than 50 sports will participate, traditional sport, new sport, and many kids, especially the displaced one, and I was told that about 100 will be in the opening ceremony of this festival. So I'm again very happy to have this original component of this conference. And thanks again, Stefan. I wish all the HIMS members to have a very successful meeting and a good continuation of this week. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ricky Bitti, who is the president of the Association of Summer Olympic Federations. Please receive a token of appreciation from Ames Council and United Through Sport. A round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Ricky Bitti. Fair play is the foundation we stand on in life and sport. Protecting sport and its integrity, as well as the athletes who are clean, is important. We have an old saying in Thailand: we rather fail in honesty than succeed in dishonesty. It is our greatest honor to welcome our next speaker, who is the president of WADA, an IOC member. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sir Craig Reedy.
Mr. President, Minister, delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your kind invitation to speak here this morning and your warm welcome. President Fox, and that's a nicer title than the Fox, it tells me that the theme of your meeting today is the concept of fair play and being united through sport. Now, I have always believed that sport is a profoundly important part of society because of its ability to develop the body, mind, and attitude in positive ways. Playing and competing in sport strengthens character and fosters healthy values. Fair play encompasses much of what is good about sport. It protects clean athletes' right to a level playing field. WADA's mission is to lead the collaborative worldwide campaign to safeguard the clean athlete. Our vision is a world where all athletes can compete in a doping-free sporting environment. Our core values of integrity, accountability, and excellence guide us in all that we do. An athlete with integrity demonstrates values such as fair play, respect for opponents and officials, healthy regard for the rules of sport, honesty over dishonesty, and ethical behavior, or in fact, doing what is right. Values remain as important to sport today as they have always been. I believe the public and the vast majority of athletes value the importance of fair play as much as they always have. Yet, as we all know, there is a win-at-all-costs culture that threatens everything beautiful about sport. It encourages athletes to take shortcuts to win, entices them with promises of wealth and fame, and like it or not, there is a great temptation for some athletes to cheat. The sports-loving public continue, however, to be disgusted by cheating. And in light of recent doping scandals, it is our responsibility, all of us in this room, and throughout the broader sports movement, to bolster public and athlete confidence through a robust anti-doping system led at all times by strong values. The integrity of any sport will be judged by its participants, its spectators, its sponsors, the general public, and more often than not, the media. The survival of a sport therefore relies on ensuring that it remains true to its values, principles, and rules. We have all seen firsthand what can happen if a sport loses its integrity. It has damaging and long-lasting consequences. Our job is to ensure that these values are upheld and that the integrity of sport is protected, that fair play is respected, and that athletes can, in fact, play true, confident that the person standing on the start line beside them or in the team opposite them is also clean and playing by the rules. And at a time when we are fighting back against doping scandals, we continue to strengthen the global anti-doping program through better testing, effective education, far-reaching regulation, and revealing investigations. We want to provide platforms for those inspirational athletes who are role models for clean sport. We need to show youth that while we are fighting against those who would harm sport, there are still many individuals who value the concept of fair play and who choose to do the right thing. Now, I spoke to a number of organizations and groups of international federations and have two more presentations today. But I think I would finish by saying, whatever your chosen sport, WADA stands with you, ready to lead the fight against doping so we can all continue to foster and maintain the value of fair play. It is vitally important to continue our work in partnership to protect and honour that ideal. I think there will always be challenges. There will always be those who seek to gain an unfair advantage over their competitors. But a strong WADA and willing partners like you, like AIMS, we will face these challenges with the necessary tools and determination required to advance the cause of clean sport and to protect the athletes that we serve. President Fox, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Sir Craig Reedy. We thank you for your words of wisdom. Please receive a token of appreciation from Ames Council and United Through Sport. A round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, Peace and Sport is under the high patronage of His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco. It uses sport as a tool to create hope, harmony, and peace. Mr. Joël Bouzeau needs no introduction. He is a former successful Olympian, the founder of Peace and Sport, as well as president of World Olympians. Please give him a warm welcome, Mr. Joël Bouzeau.
Thank you. I'm particularly happy to address to you, their president, and members, to celebrate this team, United Through Sport, and I would also say uniting through sport. I'm glad to be here, especially 1 week after the International Day on Sport for Development and Peace, which was celebrated on April 6th. We are gathered today because of the power of sport. The universality and neutrality of sport has the capacity to bring together a variety of actors, athletes, sports federations, governments, NGOs. But it is not the only matter why we should gather. I think it is time to see sport not only as a marketing tool or a business, and especially a very successful industry, but also as a proven, cost-effective and flexible tool that can help tackle global issues. People and institutions need to understand that sport does not require lush green pitches or fancy equipment. Sport is at the service of everyone. Everyone who wants to use it. So a fishing net can become a volleyball net, as you can see on the screen, or a bundle of rags can become a football, and tires can make a boxing ring. The difference is that if we find a successful approach like that, we can reach 100% of the kids. Peace and Sport has demonstrated that through our methodology of sport simple solutions, it is possible to maximize the reach and the impact of sport. Sport simple solutions consist in adapting sport rules and equipment in order to reach sporting values and to teach sporting values to children. Sport simple can help creating healthy lifestyles and the basis to educate children to become good citizens, because after all, that's what we are looking for. The important role that federations, sports federation can play for peace is there. Under this framework, everybody can play a role to maximize the use of sport and to make it more accessible to children and youngsters. On one hand, the international federations, such as you, have the expertise and knowledge on sport. Sports federations know better than anyone the values that can be transmitted through sport, as well as all the technical means and equipment. However, federations should work together with local NGOs and athletes who are at the heart of local and vulnerable communities, the athletes being the role models to influence the kids, in order to develop the practice of sport and use it as a platform for positive change. As an example, together, Peace and Sport works closely in 2 field programs with international federations, local NGOs, Champions for Peace, national Olympic committees. The Live Together program, which is in Jordan, where we work in Al-Zatari refugee camp, and the Friendship Games in Africa in the Great Lakes region. Last week I was in Jordan, where the Live Together program is implementing peace through sport activities, and Sport Simple workshops in order to bring a sense of normalcy to refugees and support social programs in the camp. 4 federations joined us last week: Techball, ITTF, WACO, and World Taekwondo, in addition to the UNHCR and the Jordan Olympic Committee. During this event, as you could see, our champions for peace, Aya Medani, an Olympic modern pentathlete, led a fencing workshop. 15 young refugees made swords from recycled materials from the camp and started to learn about fencing. We did not have any fancy equipment for that, but they learned how to meet another, how to respect a rule, how to experience fencing. Another example of cooperation is the Friendship Games implemented in Africa Great Lakes region. Since 2007, Peace and Sport is working there, supporting 6 community centers in Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Rwanda. Last year, 8 federations supported this program in cooperation with the Burundi National Olympic Committee. Last week, I was pleased to see international and national sports federations, sports clubs, and athletes organizing concrete peaceful sport actions on April 6 through our platform, april6.org. Thanks to you all and to others, 750 projects in 100 countries were registered on our platform. Other federations joined the Peace Through Sport movement and participated in the #WhiteCard campaign, such as World Squash Federation, International Surfing Federation, International Ice Hockey Federation, World Karate Federation, UIPM. In total, 90 million people were reached to that campaign. This is a massive participation, which today is really significant. You can see on the screen that was an operation in Colombia, where you see on the screen 2 heads of state. Juan Manuel Santos, the president of Colombia, Nobel Peace Prize winner, and His Serene Highness Prince Albert II, together with Didier Drogba, the football star who is also a champion for peace. So today, I invite you all to join our efforts and to keep promoting Sport for Peace through sport-based initiatives, the #WorldCard campaign, and through your athletes, those who are Olympians, those who are not Olympians. All of them are role models. 2 little points to finish. Peace is not the absence of war. It is the result of dialogue. Sport can contribute. And poverty is not the absence of dignity. To become a good citizen, you need to enjoy dignity. And sport can make a major contribution to dignity. It does not require fancy equipment. It just needs to be sport. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joël Bouzou, the President of World Olympians. Could you please receive a token of appreciation from AIMS Council and United Through Sport. A round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Joël, for that insightful and evoking speech. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, UN Women is an important part of the International Sports Federation. Please allow me to welcome onto the stage UN Women Deputy Regional Director for Asia and the Pacific, Anna Karin Jadfors. Please welcome.
Thank you very much, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of UN Women, it is my pleasure to be with you today and to be part of this collective effort to join positive change. Of course, sport has the power to transcend all boundaries of sex, of culture, religion, and nationality. It promotes health and well-being, and it promotes self-esteem. And it teaches leadership, teamwork, perseverance, skills that are needed not just in sport, but in life. Given its unique value proposition and its vast outreach, sports also has the power to help build a gender-equal world. It provides opportunities for women and girls to develop the confidence and the skills that they take with them into the world of work and into their private lives. The capacity to be a team player, the spirit and the will to win fairly, the importance of looking after your own health and well-being. And women in sports make inspiring role models, defying gender stereotypes and showing men and women as equals, which is, of course, at the heart of UN Women's mandate. But sport can also help men and boys to get the knowledge and the skills they need to embrace and adopt healthy notions of what it means to be a man, and to reject harmful and outdated norms that condone inequality or violence against women. In support of the United Nations Secretary General's Unite to End Violence Against Women campaign, UN Women brings together the world of sports to end this violence once and for all, which continues to affect some 1 out of every 3 women in their life. Our collaboration with the International Federation of Muay Thai Amateur here in Thailand is a positive example of this, and we need to build on this further. Women are more present in sports now than ever before. At the 1900 Olympic Games in Paris, women competed for the first time, representing just 22 out of 997 athletes. The 2012 Olympics in London were the first where women competed in every sport. And in Rio in 2016, approximately 45% of athletes were women. As many other industries have also recognized, having a level playing field that includes both women and men makes for better decisions, widening perspectives, bringing in new ideas, and helping to reach new audiences and markets. But there's still a long way to go before we have gender equality in the world of sport. Because across the world, girls still face fewer opportunities to train, less investment, less access to equipment and safety than boys. And when they make it as professional athletes, they still meet the glass ceiling and significant pay gaps in many sports. Sport is a source of income for women, as it is for men. So we need to support and protect women's interests so that they can benefit from it as much as men. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which was adopted by world leaders in 2015, has set the roadmap for gender equality by 2030. And the agenda specifically recognizes the power of sports as an enabler to development and to women's empowerment. And sport has also given us the opportunity to form exciting partnerships to help us achieve this together. Just last year, UN Women and the International Olympic Committee renewed our commitment to work together to empower women and girls in the world of sports and to increase women's leadership and equality in the sport industry. But we need all clubs, all federations, all associations to be part of this change. So what can you do? A few things. First, you can ensure equal representation for women and men across all sports categories. Second, you can adopt and implement policies against sexual harassment and all forms of violence against women. Third, you can create safe spaces for adolescents, boys and girls, to develop the skills and knowledge that they need to develop respectful and healthy relationships. Fourth, you can engage male and female athletes as champions and role models. And last but not least, you can encourage more women and girls to explore your sports. This may require increased investment from federations, but it can also involve rebalancing resources so that women and men, boys and girls, have equal opportunities to participate. UN Women's partnership with Valencia Football Club is a really good example of how sports clubs can play a role in bringing about gender equality. In addition to promoting women's empowerment, Valencia players have also become he for she champions, encouraging men and boys to become equal agents of change to make sure that we are all winners. So to wrap up, let me just say that we do have in our region here in Asia Pacific a real opportunity to leverage some of the important sports events coming up, of course not least of which the Tokyo Olympics, to work together to promote gender equality in the world of sports, but also in broader political and social areas. Because there is no doubt that sports and the pursuit of gender equality are mutually reinforcing. Both are based on values such as respect, fairness, and commitment. Both have the power to break down barriers of discrimination and unleash positive changes, not just for the individuals themselves, but for our societies at large. And in this, we're all in the same team. So let's create an equal world to play in. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anna Karin Jadfors, who is the UN Women Deputy Regional Director for Asia and the Pacific. Please receive a token of appreciation from AIMS Council and United Through Sport. Thanks for your kind words. And in just a few moments, the IOC President will join us on this stage for a few words as well. Julia? In just a few moments, we'll get to welcome together the IOC President. Now I would like to invite onto the stage a beautiful lady from United Through Sport, which is more than just a slogan. It is an alliance of many coming together to create a better tomorrow. Sportability stands for different abilities we all have and using these abilities to work as one. It is now my greatest pleasure to introduce the CEO of Sportability, who is one of the engines of the United Through Sport initiative and festival. We're very proud to have her here in Thailand with us to contribute to the ones in need. Please welcome Mrs. Julia Govenden. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please bear with me. Today we are very honored to have so many guest speakers from around the world sharing their thoughts and their kind words to all of us here. And I believe that you will definitely have a very fruitful and productive conference today and a few days later here in Bangkok, Thailand. Also enjoy the rest of your stay here in Thailand and definitely enjoy the festival with all the children who will be enjoying the sports here. As I mentioned earlier, today we will be welcoming the IOC President, who will be saying a few words on the stage. And also you'll be hearing from another important figure, who is the AIMS President, Mr. Stephen Fox. He also has another hat, which is the Vice President of GAVE. And also we're very honored to welcome the IOC member, who is the President of Badminton Thailand, a very talented and beautiful lady. Because we have a few moments here, can we give her a big round of applause for her presence? Kun Ying Pathama Lee Sawattragoon, a beautiful lady in blue dress. Thank you for joining us today, and would love to hear from you in just a few moments. And I also have a few more moments here. Please allow me to introduce some of our honorable guests. Also, CEO from Right to Play is here with us, Mr. Kevin Frey. Could you please stand up for us, please? And also we would like to welcome the founder of Youth and Sport Task Force, sports specialist from UNESCO, Caroline Baxter Trezise. Thank you so much for being here. I also have IOC Athletes Commission, Nadine Davani. There you are. And General Secretary from APAS, Stanislas Frossard. You will be here in just a few moments. I hope that I pronounce your name correctly. And also, not to be missed, we would love to hear from the IOC President, Dr. Thomas Bach, in just a few moments. I hope they enjoy our session early this morning. You all are early risers. Have you been anywhere else in Thailand apart from Bangkok? Yes? Not really. Yes, you have. Okay. There's a lot to explore, especially during Songkran Festival. You probably love Bangkok it's very quiet time of the year. You enjoy the empty roads, and you can do most things without stucking in the traffic. And you will have more productive conference until the 20th of April, right? So make the most of it, and I'm sure all of you have the right, have the power to make something different, especially for the youth around the world who will be joining us in the festival, which will be held just in front of Central World, which is the venue that we are here right now. I'm just trying to kill a time. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I think, thanks God, I'm more than ready to introduce a very important figure of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our IOC President, Dr. Thomas Bach, who would like to say a few words.
Thank you. First and foremost, I would like to say good morning to everyone, to IOC President, Mr. Thomas Bach, Minister of Tourism, His Excellency Wirasak Kosarat, SportAccord President, Patrick Baumann, and AIMS President, Mr. Stefan Fox. To all friends of the Olympic family and all supporters of the United Through Sport Festival, I welcome you. I'm proud to stand here today to look upon a room filled with a vast array of personalities coming together and sharing in one common goal. I have no doubt that everyone agrees with me in the notion that sport helps to bridge cultural and ethnic divides, to promote tolerance and non-discrimination, to reinforce social integration and to advocate healthy lifestyle. Through sports development, we can achieve broader human development goals. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all part of the Olympic and gay family in one way or another, and we must stand united and place the values of human beings and solidarity at the center of our attention to ensure that the practice of sport remains a human right. Sport must belong to everyone. In all its decisions and actions, we must continue to foster and promote a universal impact sport has on individuals and society. We all understand that sports development cannot be the panacea to solve all issues, but nevertheless, it can generate many positive effects and be a valuable tool for development. Participation in sport is a right that every human being should enjoy without tolerance or hindrance. Sport is about participation. It's about inclusion, fostering social integration and identity building of minorities, marginalized groups such as street children, child soldiers, ethnic groups, and the list goes on. Sport also conveys positive messages. It influences behavior, just as it can promote self-esteem and interpersonal skills among people, especially our younger generation, as well as women. It can fight discrimination and raise awareness about women's rights and issues, as well as enable communities at odds to build bridges among themselves. Sport also helps in the healing process, in populations overcoming trauma, and brings joy and brightens up many people's lives worldwide. But more crucially, he had a vision, and his vision was much more than just to establish a world competition. His dream was to integrate a culture of athleticism and education, and to position sport as a model for peace and harmony. Today stands the Olympic movement, and we must give a special thanks to personalities like Dr. Bach, the IOC president, Mr. Baumann, leading GAIF, and Mr. Fox, working with non-Olympic sports. We must also certainly include all the international federations and organizations who truly safeguard a set of unifying values that extend well beyond the playing field. The Olympic values of excellence, friendship, and respect are the heart and soul of the Olympic movement. The goal of Olympicism is to place sport at the service of the harmonious development of mankind, with a view to promote a peaceful society centered around the preservation of human dignity. These are the fundamental principles of Olympicism, the Olympic Charter. So we have all come here today to work together and stand as a team for the values of excellence, fair play, and respect. And yes, perhaps there is a marginal group of people who function for other reasons, but everyone in this room is a part of or strives for value-based organizations. It's our duty that we uphold proper ethics, dignity, and good governance in all our activities. And this is why, personally, once again, I'm extremely proud to stand here today. So let us continue to use the power of sport as a tool for social change, and let us be united as one in all corners of the world. Sport provides hope to so many, which I feel, at times, hope is lost to so many. Sport has no chains, and can also serve to release us from many other chains. Over the next 4 days, we have a variety of activities and performances incorporated into this festival, and so much work has been done. Children from all over the world will come together from the camps, from displaced, disadvantaged, and juvenile centers. Let us celebrate these brave and amazing, amazing children. And more importantly, let us stand united with them during this convention, and certainly through the United Through Sport Festival. Over 100 children are involved tomorrow evening in the opening ceremony of the festival, combining many beautiful abilities from dancing and also through sport. But you will not just hear or see these children. I can assure you that you will feel them with your heart. We do not believe in disabilities, as we all have different abilities. And tomorrow, they are coming together as one. So please join the celebration of unity and diversity, and hope for a better tomorrow through the power of sport. And finally, and most importantly, there are no better voices than the ones of our children. So please, it is my pleasure to welcome 2 of them here today, who will come to speak to you on stage. Please put your hands together and welcome Rocco and Rihanna. Let's try that again. Here we go.
Good morning, world of sport. My name is Rocco. I'm part of the 100 children who have been working hard over the last few weeks to perform for all of you here in Bangkok. Surely, we will have a lot of fun, but at the same time, we do understand there are a lot of children in the world who are not as fortunate as us. So I'm here with Rihanna today to ask for your support to help all the children in need. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm a little bit nervous because I've Googled some of you, and many of you are in a position to bring smiles into children's faces. Please join us tomorrow night for some fun, a few surprises, and be inspired by some of the children who have come from far away. Their presence is my inspiration. Tomorrow will be a highlight of their lives, so please come and celebrate with us.
That's so sweet. Thanks also to Julia Govindan for your unique and powerful words. Now our next, we receive a token. Yeah, would love to give you something. Just a little gift, please. Thank you for your kind words, Mrs. Julia Govindan from United Through Sport. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker definitely needs no introduction to the Kingdom of Thailand. He is a former champion in Muay Thai, known for his charisma and unique personality, also for using his influence in the world of sport to give back towards society. I personally had worked with him several events, especially in Muay Thai events. So please welcome the presidents of AIMS and GAVE Vice President, Mr. Stephen Fox.
Thank you, Lisa, for this wonderful introduction. President, Dr. Thomas Bach, a very close friend of us, IOC member Kun Ying, and the IOC Sport Department. Ladies and gentlemen, I truly believe in alliances. I believe it is amazing what we can accomplish if we all work together. I truly believe that our true nationality is mankind. The AIMS conference every year has become an important part of the convention. We are not here to fear tomorrow, but we are here to shape tomorrow. We all are here charged with a responsibility to use the power of sport and continue to prove that sport can change the world. We believe strongly we rise by lifting others. I also strongly believe that we don't need to be the same to be together. I believe there are three constants in life: change, choice, and principle. I think there is no one in this room which does not believe that sport has the ability to bring unity and peace to a world which is clearly divided, separated by religious systems, political beliefs, cultural differences. Through our world of sports and Olympic humanity, we are truly united as the one spirit we are. I don't have to explain to you that the goal of the Olympic movement is to contribute to building a better, a peaceful world by educating our youth through sport, practice without discrimination of any kind, practice within the Olympic spirit, and this requires mutual understanding, importantly, with a spirit of friendship, solidarity, and fair play. There's many examples of the unifying power of sport. I remember the 2016 opening of the Rio Olympic Games, the refugee team. This, for me, has been a great example of Olympic spirit, solidarity, and for sport to build important bridges. It was for so many reasons that we applaud the IOC for their initiative. These athletes participated in the Games under the Olympic flag was an important effort by the IOC to draw the attention to the world, to the problems of the refugees. This makes it just more than a sporting event. It is an opportunity for people to hear and understand our athletes, their struggles, and simply who they are as individuals. I remember the story of Yusra, her unbelievable story of swimming for 3.5 hours to ice-cold waters to save her family after the boat broke down during their attempt to escape war-torn Syria. This reveals the determination of a true champion. It does not really matter if she ends up on the podium or not. Her story of rescue, hope, and triumph can only be an inspiration to all of us. Tomorrow we just see this. Children which have been displaced, walking in as a team in the opening of the festival. They live in conditions which I even don't try to describe to you. We, united through sport, are here together to make their dream of sporting excellence come true. We just have seen 2 months ago North and South Korea march together. 2 nations even entered a combined women's ice hockey team divided by so many reasons. Again, I must applaud the IOC president for his initiative. Sport never erect walls. In a world shaken by crisis, we need, now more than ever, the unifying power of sport. I could give you many, many more examples, but most important, I also believe that our athletes are role models for our youth. This is why I'm very happy that we include today also the athletes, the IOC Athletes Commission, the Peace for Champion, our Thai Olympic heroes in the 4-day United Through Sports activities. For me, it's clear, athletes who advocate for social change may never be more needed than today. So I'd like to thank all the athletes from all the sports which are here today for what you're doing and who you are. For me, the athletes' most effective tool is speaking out for justice, their own authentic voices and personal stories. This is, by example, I also find the Para and Special Olympics is a great example of all kinds of people with different disadvantages coming together, but looking beyond them and having determination to succeed. For me, it is never the disability that defines you. It's how you deal with the challenges that disability presents you with. We have an obligation to the abilities we have, not the disability. And this is why we're also happy tomorrow night to have so many children with different abilities joining us on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, the IOC president has come here this morning. Together, we work towards achieving a global community of mutual respect and understanding. Sport plays a very important part in the achievement of this goal. I would like to thank so many of you which have contributed through this United Through Sport campaign. First of all, the IOC for giving us patronage to the event. I understand also behind every president stands an important team. So I also like to thank the IOC Sports Department for all their support during the last months to make this possible. I would like to thank certainly my own federation, Muay Thai and IFMA, our president, Dr. Tapsuwan and Charissa, which really have contributed so much. PANIDA, which have put and coordinated, the executive secretary of AIMS, which have coordinated over 50 sports coming together in the next 3 days. I would like to thank Right to Play, especially for all they have done. We have established an important relationship, and the work and coming together, the disadvantaged children, the kids from the juvenile centers, all of them, I'd like to thank you, especially Nirv. I know Kevin is speaking today, but highest respect for you. Last but definitely not least, I would like to thank Julia, the CEO of United Through Sport, for putting this all together. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give admiration, inspiration, courage, and determination to all of us, celebrating the spirit and values of sport to make a change for the ones in need. And now, it is my greatest pleasure and honor to call upon the IOC president, and I also would like to welcome here this morning the IOC member, Kuning Patana, which also have contributed so much. But please, put your hands together for a person we all respect so much, which have shaped the Olympic movement and reshaped, so to say, the Olympic movement in the last years and truly has shown us Olympic humanity. Please put your hands together for Dr. Thomas Bach. Thank you.
Dear IMS President, dear colleague and friend Kuning Patama, dear presidents and friends, now I'm in trouble. Of course, I had an extremely well prepared speech here for this morning, but after my friend Stefan has already delivered this speech, there is not much to add anymore, because he has made it very clear that we are all united by the fact that we are values-based organizations, and that in this more and more polarized world, in this world which is driving apart in many respects, socially, economically, politically, that in this world the unifying power of sport is maybe more important than ever. I think this is on the one hand widely recognized, but on the other hand, in this kind of polarization, in this situation of polarization, we also have to realize on our side that this polarization leads to the fact that some want to use this power of sport for their political purposes. And that whilst we are striving for unifying people, some people are more interested in using the power of sport to even divide people more. And this sometimes is a very fine line. The only answer to find this fine line is that we in sport have to be strictly politically neutral, even if sometimes this is not easy. Even if sometimes there you have to act and to deal with partners with whom politically you would not agree, and where you see serious problems. But then you have to take the decision. And you have to take a decision according to our principles, that it is not up to sport to judge politically, that it's not up to sport, as Stefan rightly said, to erect walls, but that it is more important that sport remains the bridge between people. In my own country, we had this discussion in principle a couple of years ago, when there were still two Germanys. And there you have two schools of thought, like you has always, at least. And if it's about lawyers like me, you have more than two schools of thought. Two lawyers are enough for 3 or 4 schools of thought. But there, the principal decision is how to make progress. Through isolation or through engagement. And the answer of sport must always be through engagement. Because I do not want to be too philosophical, but if you look back in history, isolation never worked. With isolation, you give even people better arguments in their environment that they are right, and that the rest, all the others who are not of their opinion, stand against them, and that this is a kind of battle, either religious or political or economical. Only through engagement you can get your argument, and in our case, in sport, you can get your values across. Only if you speak with people, you can explain to them. Only if you listen to people, you can understand their position. And only if these two things are coming together, then you can build a bridge. So keep going, building these bridges, even if sometimes it is not easy. And keep your political neutrality under all circumstances, because otherwise you will see sport losing its unifying power very quickly. Yes, we have power. We have a unifying power, but this power is very, very fragile. And the moment we are not following our principles there anymore, and the moment, maybe for the best of reasons, we take a political decision, a political position on one side, you will see falling this back on our feet very, very soon from another side. And then it will be impossible to keep this unity in diversity of all our member federations, in the case of the IOC, in case of all the 206 national Olympic committees. And there are, to give you an example, that sometimes it's not easy. Stefan mentioned the joint march of the two Korean teams in Pyeongchang recently. And there, maybe the one or the other of you have followed, we had an agreement with both governments from North and South, with both NOCs from North and South on the 20th of January 2018. To have this joint march, the one flag, the Korean unification flag, the joint women's ice hockey team. And many people thought, now it's done. And I had my doubts from the very beginning. I always said, Kit is sitting here, he has been closely involved in this. I always said, I only believe it once I see them in the stadium. And you know, when the final decision then was taken, when we could finally decide what to do, it was 4 hours before the opening ceremony. 4 hours before, because you had these last-minute attempts by one or the other to make a political point with one symbol or the other. And then we had to decide what to do, whether we are giving in to save this great symbol of the unified march, or whether we would say, under these circumstances, no. And we said, under these circumstances, no. So at noon time of the opening ceremony, I had 3 different speeches for the opening ceremony in the evening. They're ready because we would not know what would finally happen and whether we could convince them all to follow our directions, to follow our decision of 20th of January. So I'm sure, Stefan, you will not need 3 different speeches for tomorrow night for your United Through Sport event, which is a great initiative. And I wish you and all your people all the very best, because this is exactly the kind of efforts we need. And when you see here Rocky and Rihanna appearing, sorry Julia, but they were the real stars of your presentation. When you see them appearing here on the stage, then you know what it is about. We have to give these children, we have to give this new generation a chance. We have to give them a chance to overcome their differences. We have to give them a chance to respect each other. We have to give them a chance to realize that everybody can contribute to this unity, to this unifying power of sport, and that in this way we can make a contribution, in fact, for a better world, and also realizing that we cannot do it alone. We cannot do it alone in sport, and we cannot do it alone in society. In the end, then it's politics which has to take the decisions, which has to follow up. But we can pave the way, as we did in Pyeongchang, for instance, and as we did in Rio with the refugee team. We can pave the way, and so you are paving the way. There tomorrow evening, you're paving the way with this conference by unifying the sports movement behind this great goal, and by making it clear to everybody that we, despite all the challenges we have, and despite all the people who do not follow our principles, that there is a great majority, that there is a determined majority of people engaged in sport, determined to defend and to promote these our common values, and to really celebrate these values for the young generation and for everybody in the world. And for this I wish you all the very best. I'm sure you will succeed, and you can enjoy then this great event, this great success, together with all our friends here. I wish you a great and a successful United Through Sport conference, and an even a better event tomorrow evening. Thank you for the invitation, and all the very best to all of you.
Thanks to the IOC President. Could you please remain on the stage, Dr. Thomas Bach, to receive a token of appreciation from the Ames Council and United Through Sport representative. Could you please give a big round of applause to the IOC President? Thanks for your kind words. And it's more than an honor to have your presence here at this prestigious annual event. So a photo with our young generations will be a bright future. They're here today to give out such a lovely speech to all of us. And they will definitely have a very special performance for all of you here at the opening. What's your favorite sport? Okay, thank you, honorable guests. Thank you. Thanks to the IOC President for the honor. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, I would like to congratulate her on her appointment as an IOC member. And she is one of the driving force for badminton in Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Kun Ying Pattama Lee Sawat Trakoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, last month I had the truly wonderful privilege of being granted an audience with His Holiness Pope Francis in Vatican City. They say a picture worthiness 1,000 words. And it is clear from this picture how much this meant to me. Pope Francis once said that we all have a duty to do good. Do good can be interpreted in many ways. But for me, doing good means the promotion for sport and making sure sport is accessible for everyone. I believe that sport can help make better people and create stronger communities. My Catholic faith have always been a strong guiding light in my life. From a very early age, my religion had taught me the importance of community and the need to serve people who are less fortunate than us. Recently, I visited I witnessed the power of sport. When I visited this place, Juvenile Detention Center, I led a program to teach teenagers how to play badminton. And a second program to teach another group to become badminton officials. The boys in this center had a very difficult start of life. Many of them have grown up in poverty without the privileges that we take for granted. Because of this, these young men have a renewed purpose and motivation in their lives. This will inspire them to make positive choices in the future and become productive of society. I visited 3 provinces in the south of Thailand with national coaches and athletes to give badminton equipment to the local people and give them how to play. At first, people were afraid to leave their homes because of the unrest. But after that, people enjoy playing badminton and socializing together. Sport teaches us that life is not all about us. We learn that by coming together as a team, which are unified. With the unified purpose, we can achieve far more than we can by ourselves. if I can finish my speech with another quote from His Holiness Pope Francis. Life is a journey. When we stop, things don't go right. Promoting sport for all and using my position in society will help others with my passion. And it is what I continue to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Please
Thank
remain
you
on the
so
stage.
much.
เชิญรับของที่ระลึกนะคะ Thank you so much คุณหญิงปัทมาลีสวัสดิ์ตระกูล We appreciated your hard work that you've done for the children in Thailand. And thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you so much, our honorable guests on the stage. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our next speakers, all the way from Mexico, is representing the world initiative called Sport is Your Gang, in which 10,000 children participated in, and in 2014 have won the SportAccord Spirit of Sport Award. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Giovanna Mondragon and Gabriel Rojo.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so you start.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gabriel. I am a former football player, and I'm going to talk about how sports affected my life in simple but essential ways that can and should be taught to our children in our homes and on the streets. I have been in sports since I have memory, and it gave me everything I have and everything I am. It taught me to be disciplined. I needed to act in congruence in order to achieve my goals. Good habits, waking up early, to take care of myself and have enough rest. Kept me away from addictions. My only interest was to be in the best form possible so I could make it into the squad for the game. My mind, my body had only one goal and no room for anything else. It made me responsible. Only I could put in the hard work during training. No one else was going to do it for me. It taught me that teamwork is vital. You can be very good, but no one is as good as everyone together. To be a leader and to lead by example. I understood to enjoy and respect the processes, something that today is very rare. Everyone wants immediate results. Everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to be a champion, but not everyone is willing to do what it needs to be done. So I think that it's a very important thing to teach, to enjoy the process, because in the process is where you find the joy. Once you get there, it's done. So we might enjoy the path. It gave me structure and social skills, and I'm trying to do and to inspire others with that example. And for the children, it gave me a platform to help others, to inspire them. And I think that every kid should have the opportunity of sports. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Gabriel, it's an example and an inspiration for all our kids in Mexico and the Americas for the program Sport is Your Gang. Let me tell you a story so you can understand our aim. Imagine Maria. Maria is a 15-year-old teenager who lives in one of the poorest neighborhoods or communities in Mexico City. She has dreams. She wants to become an athlete, but her family can hardly provide her basic needs. So she gets frustrated, desperate, and that leads her to get involved with a local gang or wanted to be pregnant at a very early stage or dropping school, you know. Imagine all these landscapes. So that's the path we don't want. She began to be such a rebel. But once she met a group and she became a member of one of our groups of Sport is Your Gang. And after 2 years, she was okay in school. She had dreams. She wanted to compete abroad, Mexico, and she wanted to help other kids and become a coach, a Muay Thai coach, and inspire the other kids. So that's what we're trying to do. Many kids in Mexico are struggling to experience healthy childhoods. They don't have community guidance, opportunities, and supportive institutions. So that children cannot develop into resilient adults. For some of our participants, such conditions had put them at risk of participating in crime, incarceration, substance abuse, labor and sexual exploitation, and of course, cyclical poverty. And now, through sports, many kids as Maria, now they have a future now. They have more opportunities. They are racing out of desperation. They are youths who, through sport, have fostered their identities and matured their interpersonal and educational skills. Sport has taught them to become better people, to embrace human values such as hope and independence, respect, discipline, teamwork, and fairness. So, for that reason, sport should be a right. Sport, it's a right. Very recently, has been defined as a human right that must be respected and enforced worldwide. It can no longer be considered a luxury within any society, but rather as an important investment in present and future societies, particularly in societies like ours. So, this initiative should be shared and deserves to grow, deserves to be shared. And let me talk a little bit about our story. Sport is Your Gang. It's an organization that is fostered by Elisa Salinas here. It's a nonprofit who was launched in April, formally in April 2015. Let me go forward in the presentation a little bit. Oh, it's broken. It's broken, but it doesn't matter. Okay, I will tell you the numbers as well. In 2015, we started with one group in Mexico City, and we have 11 kids. By now, for 2018, we have 3,000 students all over Mexico, particularly and primarily in Mexico City and in the center, which you cannot see, but I can tell you. So we have 3,000 kids, and now we have two groups in United States. In Los Angeles, we have 60 kids now. And we already have not 10, but 20 groups in Honduras. So that's where it's not Sport is Your Gang Mexico anymore. It's Sport is Your Gang Americas. And very recently, so it's not in the presentation, we have 2 new groups in Argentina. So we really want to grow, we really want to move forward and bring sport to everybody. I think our initiative, it's a very sustainable way to make kids to have a future. We are mobilizing a lot of community resources. That's one of the key points of our success. We are drawing support from community centers, churches, gyms, parents associations, volunteers. I mean, we're everywhere. If they need us, we go there and we work with children. We're not waiting for the best facilities. We're not waiting for the best resources. We just go there. So that's why in 3 years we reached that high number of 3,000 kids in Mexico. So our program, look, this is a group of one community. We have 2,050 groups in Mexico, and we've been growing up as the program grows, so does our staff. Now we have 150 instructors. We also are educated in not only in the technical things of Muay Thai, which is our main core. They are receiving training in human rights, in violence, in domestic violence, and so also in conflict resolution methodologies. So they can be, so our instructors can be really good mentors for the community. Because imagine these kids like Maria, sometimes they don't have the guidance. They don't have adults, responsible adults, who can teach them the path. So we are training our instructors to be this strong mentor, and strong mentor who give them guidance, who can be a role model for our kids. And so our program has shown a great impact. Kids are also, they stop their drug abuse, and they are avoiding early pregnancies, they stay in school, they refrain from crime. I mean, everything, all the things that sport can give you. They have hopes, they have future. So the impact is big. I mean, we're now doing all the studies to have like better numbers and statistics, but after this, it's what's been shown after 3 years of work with many, many kids in Sport is Your Gang. Look, here's another group. There's Mrs. Salinas there. So I'm so proud of that picture. And of course, we hope to grow. We want to share this program all over America. We want to go throughout all the continent. So that's why we need alliances. We need to make bridges with a lot of federations, with groups, with any organization that can help us, because there are many countries that really are talking with us, and they want to have our methodologies. We opened Argentina recently. It's not now it's a reality. Now we want to grow. We have 2 groups. There are people from Brazil who wants to be part of Sport is Your Gang. Canada is starting next year, Colombia, Peru, and of course we want to go throughout all Central America. So we need a lot of help from you. We need a lot of alliances. By now, we've made a major alliances that are helping us in this path. Of course, IFMA has been very supportive with us. Actually, the initiative started with IFMA, but Mrs. Salinas took the flag and brought it to all America, to the America continent. And of course, we have also the alliance with the Mexican Federation of Muay Thai Amateur, the Pan American Confederation of Muay Thai. Now we are in alliance with Fight for Peace, so they're helping us in a lot of projects. They're helping us also with methodologies and other way of measure the impact of our organization. We are in an alliance with FICE, which is a Peruvian organization, who is helping us with strategic communications to have more funds, and also they are helping us to communicate better our message, because it really deserves to be thrown out in the world, and inviting people and making them willing to work with us. And also we've received an award from the Mexican Senate as the best initiative in 2016. So this slide, I wanted to grow up, I want to make it bigger and bigger and have better alliances, and let's hope for the future. I mean, Latin America deserves a better future. Sport is a right, it's a human right, and it doesn't have to be a luxury, because I don't know in many of your countries, but in my country, practicing a sport, it's a luxury. And it doesn't have to be like that. We all are here in this room to bring that message and to make all the efforts to really make that happen. So Thank you very much.
Thanks, Giovanna. You speak from true experience, and your work is benefiting so many. We all believe that every child in the world must have the right to play. And we all know we live in a world filled with injustice and poverty. Right to Play is an exceptional organization, and their efforts around the world have given hope and smiles to the children of the world. We also know that they play an important part in our region. So please welcome Mr. Kevin Frey.
Thank you very much. As someone who actually spends a lot of time in international development forums, I can tell you it's really nice to be here today. There's a healthy amount of skepticism in the international development world about the power of sport to deliver real, measurable outcomes against the big global problems that we're struggling with. But this room is full of leaders who understand the power of sport to transform lives, not only of elite athletes, but in the case of Right to Play, of the most vulnerable children in the world. Some of whom you're going to be able to see tomorrow night in the festival. I'd like to actually thank the Thai government, who's done a ton of work with us to make it possible for the children who are going to be competing tomorrow to be here. So I would really encourage everyone, if possible, to try to make it out there. As some of you may know, Right to Play was formed out of the Olympic movement 20 years ago. We were founded on the belief that sport and play can empower children to rise above war, poverty, and disease. Since our inception, we've reached more than 10 million children in over 40 countries. In Africa, the Middle East, the Americas, and Asia, including right here in Thailand, where we've been working since 2002. Over the last 20 years, as one of the leaders in the Sport for Development and Peace movement, Right to Play has generated definitive evidence that sport can indeed address some of the most pressing global issues facing children today. We've heard a lot already about the unifying power of sport, so I won't talk about that. But sport, as we have seen again and again and again, can keep children in school, as we just heard from Joanna, and out of child labor. It can give girls the confidence to say no to early child marriage and female genital mutilation. It can offer young boys a peaceful alternative to becoming child soldiers. Over my first 3 years as CEO at Right to Play, I've witnessed the power of sport in the rural villages of Africa, in the shanty towns of migrant workers here in Asia, and in the refugee camps full of children displaced by the horrors of war in the Middle East. Regardless of which country I'm visiting, I want to take you on a little bit of a trip, because there's an unmistakable experience whenever you visit a Right to Play program. You arrive in a foreign land, and you drive for hours down bumpy roads with huge potholes to the very farthest reaches, most forgotten parts of the country. Or you wind your way through claustrophobic alleys and dangerous urban slums or refugee camps. As you travel, you're surrounded by poverty, by the effects of war and disease. The locals look at you with blank and hopeless stares. You see children 6, 7, 8 years old working in the streets when they should be in school. And then you turn a corner and you arrive at your destination. You walk through a small entrance and you find yourself in a small play space or in a small soccer pitch, football pitch. It's full of children. And it hits you, literally. It's like a wall. There's life, there's laughter, there's hope, there's energy, there's opportunity. The place is literally bursting at the seams. It's like you've been transported to another universe, a place where children are allowed to be children, to learn, to develop, and to dream. That is the power of sport and play. I know it's the first morning of an annual conference, so I apologize for the heaviness of my comments. But we are currently facing the largest refugee crisis since World War II. As we've seen recently in Myanmar, not far from here, in Syria and in South Sudan, in humanitarian crises, it is children who suffer the most. It's now more than any time in history that the world's most vulnerable children need our support. And sport has a massive contribution to make. I'd like to end by just re-emphasizing something that we heard Stefan say a little bit earlier. And that is that through partnership and through alliances, we can achieve much more. And I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's festival, which I hope will be a great example of how when different organizations come together, we can deliver change for the world's most vulnerable children and help them find their way back to laughter, to hope, and to opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. We are grateful and most thankful for your thoughts and insights. Youth and sport plays an important part in the work of UNESCO, which have created many initiatives, especially in poor and urban areas. So without any further ado, please let us introduce to you Ms. Carolyn Baxter-Tracis.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, delegates. Good morning, members of the sport movement, AIMS, members of the press, and the government of Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of UNESCO and the Youth and Sport Task Force, I would like to thank AIMS, President Stefan Fox, and the government of Thailand for organizing this wonderful event, United Through Sport. For those of you who are not familiar with the Youth and Sport Task Force, it is a special collective of individuals working on grassroots sport for development. As President Baumann said earlier, we have a chance to make a positive change through sport. We are all aware that sport is a celebrated aspect of community life across the world. It is also, however, explicitly referenced in the United Nations 2030 Agenda as an important enabler of sustainable development and peace. Kevin Frey, CEO of Right to Play, just spoke about the skepticism in the international community, development community that is, towards the power of sport. This is true, but with the enthusiasm from the sport movement, if we do unite, we can make a really positive difference and we can drive some of this change. Since the millennium, a significant number and diverse range of organizations have sought to enhance the contribution of sport to sustainable development goals, many of whom we have heard from this morning. These initiatives have been instrumental in advancing the role of sport for development. The diversity of these organizations is a testament to the adaptability and versatility of sport. For example, sport federations and sport bodies at all levels have their own social initiatives. These organizations have expertise at the grassroots level, and when applied to development objectives, the impact is often far-reaching. Governments too are beginning to see the importance of physical activity for health and well-being, especially faced with rising health costs associated with non-communicable diseases such as obesity, which is the leading killer worldwide, according to the World Health Organization, and mental health disorders. Within the UN system, there has been a rise in interest in sport as an innovative and cost-effective development tool too, but this is very recent. And NGOs, such as Right to Play, are having significant impact at the grassroots level through partnerships with the private sector, and what they are doing is truly amazing. Aligned with these considerations, relationships between governments, the private sector, the sport movement, civil society organizations, and others, including beneficiaries and youth, can be configured in different ways to contribute collectively and significantly to sustainable development. So for those who are not too familiar with UNESCO, we do work other than cultural heritage, and we are the only UN agency with a mandate to actually promote and protect sport. So to achieve this, UNESCO uses several instruments to guide policy and decision-making in sport. These include the UNESCO Sport Charter, which in 1978 declared sport as a fundamental human right. It was then revised in 2015, and last year we adopted the Kazan Action Plan, which is an action plan designed for governments and the development community to move beyond policy declarations and move into real action and measuring this change. So UNESCO is now focused on multi-stakeholder partnerships, and we are expanding our interventions at the grassroots level. One of the key resources UNESCO has developed recently was in partnership with the IOC, the World Health Organization, Nike, and UNICEF. And these are the quality physical education guidelines and for policymakers. So we are now trying to adapt these at the grassroots level and see how they work in non-formal situations. These are a very important resource for delivering child-centered, inclusive physical education in schools. Quality physical education. These guidelines are an example of a tool to support well-rounded education for all, which we believe is critical for developing self-confident and socially responsible citizens. So developed via extensive consultation with diverse stakeholders and with an emphasis on partnerships, the Kazan Action Plan seeks to support governments, IGOs, and all stakeholders, as well as the sport movement, to move towards action in the field of sport for development and away from policy declarations like sport is great without actually measuring the impact of what we're doing. The action plan is integrated with the UN Agenda 2030 and the IOC Agenda 2020, and it encourages stakeholders to accumulate the data to maximize the contribution of sport. It represents a consensus on a framework to help us achieve this. So the establishment of the Youth and Sport Task Force last year was in response to this call for action, but also a desire for us to connect with young leaders who are not already institutionalized by the UN or other big organizations and support them to upscale their grassroots projects. In many cases, our youth members come from rural areas without electricity, and they have not had much contact with the international development community. Youth have a special ability to foster creative and innovative solutions to development challenges. Today's youth are becoming more and more engaged in fulfilling the promises of their governments, and they would greatly benefit from extra support from us to become change makers. The task force does not only foster cooperation between them, but it in turn, we use their knowledge to contribute to the international level. Launched last year in Southeast Asia, we already have 22 appointed youth delegates from 10 countries, but each of these youth are actually running their own grassroots organizations, so they are already leaders. They are youth who have been working in this field for up to 3 or 4 years, and they're all between the ages of 18 and 30. Here is a small selection of our youth. So, for example, we have Nicole Tiamzon. She's a champion volleyball player from the Philippines. She already has a big following, and she founded Spike and Serve, which accesses 10,000 youth each week and the local level through her program. Warwick from Thailand, he grew up in a conflict zone in Yala province, and he launched a cycling initiative between Malaysia across the border and to support intercultural dialogue for peace. Deandra, she was motivated by her own experiences in combating gender violence and gender-based violence in Indonesia, and she started her app to connect young girls in Indonesia and rural areas so they can play sport together. This is a photo from one of our events last year, and we work always with the sport community as much as possible. Here we had the International Federation of Muay Thai Amateur, and the Philippines Association was there. This is another workshop we held actually with Right to Play last year, and the whole point was to give youth a real say in sport policy, and they discussed their ideas for how we can change development. Here is another project between UNESCO and also the International Federation of Muay Thai Amateur. It's called Transforming Cities Through Sport, and it's actually an adaptation of Sport is Your Gang, which we heard about really recently. We transformed this informal settlement in Manila, and we've created a new space for youth to play sport. And the local government has agreed not to develop the space for 5 years, and in Manila that is a big achievement. As President Thomas Bach said, those of us here today are all united already, as we are all from values-based organizations. But we have the power to protect the integrity of sport and advance sport as a valuable development tool. Through a united effort and multi-stakeholder partnerships, we should be able to place sport beyond the preamble of the post-UN Agenda 2030 and have participation in physical activity in sport as a global goal. Thank you.
Thanks, Caroline, for sharing your thoughts and vision with us. The athletes are role models for our youth. They inspire and are living examples of how to show as much grace and victory as in defeat. The athletes have inspirational stories, and they are ambassadors. And the world needs them now more than ever to advocate for social change. All sports have athletes' commissions, and today it is our honor to have the representative of the IOC Athletes Commission, who is also a part of Generations for Peace, under the patronage of His Royal Highness Prince Faisal, who will be joining us at the closing conference on the 20th. But for today, please give a warm welcome to Ms. Nadine Dawani.
Colleagues of sport, friends of the Olympic movement, Royal Thai government, local organizing committee, our friends from GAVE. First of all, I would like to thank GAVE President Patrick Bowman and AIMS President Stefan Fox for inviting me to be part of this important conference, United Through Sport. I would like to congratulate them both on the excellence initiative, which, given the high caliber of speakers here today, clearly has great credibility and important future in sport. Unity is a word we often hear in the Olympic movement. Today, I would like to address its relevance in today's world and its importance to the critical years ahead. It is crucial to underline that sport of any kind must be practiced without discrimination. Unity and diversity standing together as one in solidarity. Unity must not become merely a part of a slogan. We must embrace the Olympic values and ensure that unity become a reality. Excellence, friendship, and respect are the foundation of sport and ones that Olympic athletes pride themselves on. These Olympic values, combined with the 4 Paralympic values of determination, inspiration, courage, and equality, are essential to all areas of sport. However, these values are not just relevant to sport. I think you all agree with me that excellence, friendship, respect, determination, inspiration, courage, and equality are universal principles that should guide our lives inside and outside of sport. These are the values that will help ensure unity. As Olympic athletes, as role models, it's our responsibility to be role models for the youth of the world. It is our duty to cultivate the spirit of sportsmanship and to promote the Olympic values in all aspects of life. We, as athletes, must encourage everyone in society to lead as healthy and active lifestyles as possible. We must support the disadvantaged and help create awareness of inequalities in society. We must believe that sport can create hope and change lives. Another word I have heard many times this week is Olympism. But as an advocates of Olympism, we should ask ourselves, what does this word really means? Olympism is where we are reminded of the true goal of the Olympic movement and the power of sport. We saw it in Rio with the first ever refugee team, in Pyeongchang with the unified Korean team, which could pave the way to brighter future of the Korean peninsula. We see it regularly in each of our national Olympic committees. And we have seen it here at SportAccord, where over 100 federations and organizations have united around a common purpose. SportAccord 2018 has inspired so many people to come together to work towards the same vision and mission. This is a fantastic platform to showcase the power of sport to make a difference to the future of children's life. I would like to say how much I have appreciated the way sports festivals has demonstrated that we can do together, and I know this sentiment is widely shared. I am especially proud too of the initiative in my own sport, Taekwondo, where Taekwondo has been at the forefront of supporting refugee programs led by President Cho and the Taekwondo Humanitarian Foundation. In my home country, Jordan, we experience the refugee crisis every day. So I must thank President Cho for bringing smiles and hope to many people in need through World Taekwondo work. As a Jordanian, I'm also proud of the initiatives of Generations for Peace under the leadership of His Royal Highness Prince Faisal, who will share some inspirational words at the closing of this festival. We, the athletes, must continue to promote sport for social change, gender equality, inclusion, and peace building. I believe the athletes who advocate social change are needed today more than ever. I personally believe that athletes are the most effective tool for campaigning for justice and equality. We must use our authentic voices and personal stories to inspire change. We stand united, and I can assure you that the Center of Sport, the athletes, will continue to play their part in the united front. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine. You speak with us with the voice of an athlete. It is my honor to bring on the final speaker to the podium, the representative of the European Council of EPAS, who shows the importance that this conference has on a governmental level. Please welcome Mr. Stanislas Frossard.
this page because I have my presentation on it. Yes, it's working. Okay, sorry for this technical issue. But I'm Stanislas Rossard from the Council of Europe, which is a continental organization from all countries from the European continent, from Iceland to Azerbaijan. And it's an organization based on the promotion of values of democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. And we have a network called EPAS, focused on the promotion of sports policies, and we are running a number of projects, mainly well known for our activities on fighting match fixing, promoting good governance in sport. We have a platform on a project for migrants in sport. But today I would like to address an issue that is basically an unpleasant issue that many government and sports organizations are maybe not eager to address. It's the question of fighting against sexual violence in sport. And starting from taking stock of a project that we have run with the support of the European Union and in cooperation with a number of sports organizations, we have developed a number of tools, and we would like to present one of them and to say what kind of support we can provide to sports organizations and governments which are interested to work on this question. First of all, some basic facts and figures. 1 in 5 children in Europe was victim of some form of sexual violence. And this is figures that was compiled by our colleague in charge of children protection in intergovernmental networks. Sexual abuse often leaves scars for life in the sexual life, but also in social life, because abuse of power and trust. Between 70 and 85% of the children know the abuser, which is coming from the cycle of confidence. And family, relatives, school, and so on. And abuse happens in sport too. In sport, children can be at risk for a number of reasons. There's a high tolerance for physical violence and injuries. There is sometimes authoritarian leadership. There is a trend to avoid scandal and to silence incident. Its organizations are often male-dominated. There is a common physical contact. It's often required in many sports. There is a strong culture of reward. Sometimes inappropriate sexual behavior is tolerated. And there is potential risk situation with changing rooms, showers, and so on. It's hard for children to talk, and I would like to display a short video on this. It takes 1 minute 44 seconds, and let's go.
First, I was one of the only girls on the team. They started making fun of my body because it's a swimsuit, so everything's visible. later on that turned into like hugging. Their arms just, they traveled to weird locations. But I didn't want to say anything. They're just gonna say they're making jokes.
I have a strange likeness to her. It feels as if I'm being treated differently. It's a very strange feeling I cannot describe. I really get butterflies in my stomach. It feels very weird. I want to tell her not to do it, but telling an adult to not do something is very mean.
I have a coach, which I really admire. He won loads of medals, and I really wish I could further my career with him. It's just, in some ways, not. He touched me in places. He forced me to do more uncomfortable things. I can't talk about it much. I'm scared. I'm scared of what they will think.
Thank you. And I think this is the idea. It's hard for children to talk about that kind of question, and it's up to adults to open the discussion and to start to talk on this. About 1/3 of sexually abused children never tell anyone for different reasons. They don't recognize the abuse. They feel shame and guilt. They fear not being believed, or they fear the consequence of telling about it. They don't know whom to tell. There is some confusion. They sometimes believe they are in a true relationship, or they feel that it's not fitting to the expectation on athletes that need to be strong, and they consider that vulnerability is considered as a weakness. And that's why adults must break the silence. And we are launching this initiative called Start to Talk. And we are welcoming leaders from sports organization and international organization to commit themselves to take concrete measures. This is open on our webpage. We have already some statements from UEFA and FIFA, but I hope that following my presentation here in SportAccord, we will expand the network of support. From the Council of Europe, we can help because we have a strong network of experts in charge of children protection throughout Europe. And there's also a convention on protection of children, which was ratified by 42 European states, which are committed to take measures and to do their utmost to stop child abuse, including in sport. What kind of initiative can be taken? Now we are supporting countries to improve their legislations and sports organizations to enhance their policies and strategy. We are setting up a child safeguarding strategy for sports structure, activities and events, helping to develop code of conduct, offering support for training, awareness-raising activities, trying to empower parents and to empower children with communication tools. To know more, there are a number of websites. The Process Sport is the collection of tools that were developed within the project undertaken with the European Union. A number of these tools are also available on the page of IOC on fighting sexual abuse in sport. There's the Enlarged Partial Agreement of Sport I'm representing here, which is a network of governmental authorities in charge of sport. And there is our colleagues from Children Protection with their networks of experts in children protection. Here there are a number of contact and possibilities to take action. What is very important for us after running project developing tools, videos, toolkits for training, is not just to leave it on a web page, but to ensure the sustainability of our project. And that's why now we are keeping working on this, in maintaining this Start to Talk initiative. And I would welcome expression of interest from sports organizations and governmental authorities. We are ready to support with our videos, with our training kits, with our presentation, with our network of experts who can intervene in events, in training at national level. And I think that although it's a painful issue, as I mentioned in the introduction, that's for the good of our children and for the good of sport that we will manage to improve the situation. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Frossard, for such an insightful and thought-provoking delivery. And we thank you all for joining us here today. Distinguished guests, today was a testament of cooperation, alliances, and the unique power that sport possesses. This afternoon, the Sport Festival will begin at the front of the Centara World at around 4 p.m. with the participation of around 50 sports. Sport activities will be going on until about 10 p.m., so please pop over and have a look. Tomorrow night, the opening of the Sport Festival will take place, in which children of the world will come together in unity to make a plea to the sport and political leaders of the world to continue to use sport as a tool towards peace and cultural understanding. I hope that we can count on all of you to give. Donations are most welcome. The funds will go to social projects which benefit those who live in conditions which for many of us are hard to understand. So let us unite as one to help these children to find a little smile. And if we can achieve this, then that is more than a reward. On behalf of Thailand, host country for the SportAccord 2018. I would like to thank you all for your courage, your determination, and your vision and mission towards the children of the world. Thank you and have a lovely day and a fruitful conference. For the AIMS members, the General Assembly will begin in about 30 minutes. Thank you.